This is a passenger briefing for flight aboard the UH-60 Blackhawk helicopter with the 1st of 207th Aviation Battalion, Alaska Army National Guard. All passengers will be manifested with flight operations prior to boarding the aircraft. All personnel will wear their military-issued dog tags during the flight. There is no smoking of any kind allowed in or around the aircraft. Hearing protection is required during the entire flight. Earplugs, earmuffs, and headsets are acceptable and shall be worn before approaching the aircraft. If there is large, heavy cargo or specialized equipment going on the aircraft, inform the crew chief as soon as possible. If firearms are carried aboard, the barrels will be pointed to the floor of the aircraft. If blank firing adapters are installed, then barrels will be pointed up. All members of the aircrew will be wearing survival vests containing first aid, signaling, and other useful items. The inner pocket on the right side of the vest contains signaling items including an IR strobe light, signaling mirror, and compass. The inner pocket on the left side of the vest contains first aid items including gauze, tape, and bandages. A tourniquet is located in a pouch on the upper left of the vest above the heart. Between the crew chief seats is a large green case containing sleeping bags, food, water, and other survival items to sustain 3 people for 3 days. All crew members and passengers are encouraged to carry a personal survival pack with items to supplement the aircraft survival equipment. During winter months, October through April, passengers are required to have a winter weight hat, gloves or mittens, heavyweight coat, cold weather boots, and a sleeping bag. The pilot in command is the final authority in determining whether the passenger's clothing is appropriate for the climate. Before loading onto the aircraft, verify that you have all your necessary items and that you are wearing hearing protection. Ensure all equipment is secure and nothing will be blown away by the rotor wash. Have weapons unslung and carry rucksacks by one shoulder. Do not attempt to sit in a seat with a rucksack on or a weapon slung to your person. Never approach an aircraft without the crew's knowledge. When directed to do so by a crew member, approach the aircraft only from a 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position, in line with the cargo door. Be mindful of the terrain and do not allow equipment or personnel to contact the rotor disc. If the aircraft has external fuel tanks installed, go around the back of the tank to enter the cabin door. Use caution around the back of the tank as the fins can easily be damaged. If skis are installed on the landing gear, be careful not to trip on the cables and hardware. If necessary, the crew chief may lead passengers around the nose of the aircraft to load from the opposite side. If loading from one side of the aircraft, passengers will fill in the cabin seats starting from the far side of the cabin. If loading from both sides of the aircraft, passengers will fill in from the center seats, then the outer seats. The troop seats are designed to collapse during a hard landing. No items will be placed under the seats due to the risk of personal injury. Upon seating, the passengers will begin to secure themselves. Each troop seat has a 4-point seat belt. Connect the lap belt and the shoulder straps into the buckle. Ensure a positive lock has been made on each strap. Using the larger straps, tighten the lap belt and then the shoulder straps. Use the little strap to loosen the seat belt if it is too tight. The buckle must remain at belt level. Do not over-tighten the shoulder straps. This will cause the buckle to rise into the chest area and will greatly increase the risk of injury during a hard landing or crash sequence. The crew chief will verify that all passengers are properly secured. Passengers will remain buckled for the duration of the flight and are not permitted to change seats during the flight. Do not release the seatbelt until directed to do so by a crew member. To release the seatbelt, rotate the buckle clockwise or counterclockwise and the strap shall release from the buckle. Do not exit the aircraft until directed to do so by the crew chief. and only exit to the 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock direction. If it is necessary to communicate with the crew chief, the most effective way is by writing a note. The crew chief may direct the passengers to use the handset located in the cabin ceiling to talk with the aircrew on the internal communication system. The aircraft communication systems allow the aircrew to communicate with each other, as well as flight operations, air traffic control, other aircraft, and ground elements. If a passenger is using the handset or a headset, they must not talk during these transmissions. Passengers are not permitted in the aircraft during refueling operations. If refueling is required, the crew chief will direct passengers to exit the aircraft and proceed to a designated marshalling area. When refueling is completed, the crew chief will direct the passengers to load back into the aircraft. There are 3 first aid kits, 2 on the back of the left pilot seat and 1 on the back of the right pilot seat. 2 portable fire extinguishers are installed in the aircraft, 1 on the back of the left pilot seat, the other on the right crew chief window. They operate the same as any standard extinguisher. They are only to be used on people. The portable fire extinguishers are not to be used to fight an aircraft fire. If the aircraft is on fire, all passengers and aircrew will egress the aircraft. A crash axe is located forward of the right crew chief seat. The cargo door may be opened by turning the black D-shaped handle at the front of the door and pushing back. If the door does not open, the cargo door windows may be jettisoned to provide a means of egress. A handle on each cargo door, located on a yellow background, may be pulled toward the center of each door to release the windows. In the event of a hard landing or crash, all personnel will stay inside the aircraft till everything stops moving and noise has ceased. However, if the aircraft is on fire, or there is smoke, fumes, fuel, or other hazards in the cabin, then everyone will egress immediately. Injured personnel shall be left in the aircraft unless there is an increased risk of injury. If flying over water, the aircrew may be forced to ditch the aircraft. Do not attempt to egress against the force of water pouring into the cabin. Wait till the cabin fills with water before egressing. Everyone will move a safe distance away from the aircraft and rendezvous at the 12 o'clock position, off the nose of the aircraft. If it is unsafe to meet at the 12 o'clock position due to smoke, glacial crevasses, fuel floating on water, or other hazards, everyone will meet at the 3 o'clock, then 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock position for accountability. Please bring any questions or concerns to the attention of the aircrew and always follow the instructions of the crew chief.